Okay, so we are now going to add some more options into our mail application. Okay, so we are going to add more options, particularly on, we have here, okay, the carbon copy, okay, the other recipients. Then we have also here the blind carbon copy. How are we going to design our body and for file attachments? Okay. So for a start, I have already added, okay, to my modal form, I have added um, here, CC and BCC. Okay, because that's only the additional that we have for our fields. Then the body is still the same. We're going to decorate them later on. Now, what is important here, another thing is we have here our attachments. Okay, so we have here an input of file type. Okay, that is going to let the user to upload or to select files from his local device. Okay, now do not forget this parameter multiple so that the user could uh, attach multiple files. Okay, so if ever that we are going to run that, so we have this one here. Okay, so we have uh, the recipient, then we have here the CC, the BCC, the subject, the body, and for the attachment. Okay, now, okay, so next is we are going to go to our scripts. Okay, so we have here now our body. So with our previous code, so we have here. Um, okay, so this should be our body, and this will be our subject. Okay, I'm just going to arrange them. Okay, then we're going to have our okay. First is our carbon copy. So we're going to have CC and our blind carbon copy. The subject and the body. Okay. So next is we are going to get our attachments. Okay. So for files, get element by ID. Wait. The name, the ID is we have here files. Okay. So we have here files, then dot files. Okay, so take note of the difference. So for the input field of type text, okay, so we have here dot value. But since we are going to deal with files, so we have here dot files. So we have here now an array of files. Okay, but take note that we could not directly attach or send these files into our send email what's this function. It is because this one here contains files. So what are we going to do here is we are going to convert, okay, we're going to convert these files, okay, of file type to base 64 format, or we are going to encode, okay, them into base 64 format. Now I have downloaded a function that is going to convert a file to base 64 format. Okay, so I have just, again, I have copied this one from the web. Okay, so for each of the files that we have into the files array here, we are going to call, or we are going to pass those files here so that it could be converted, okay, as it is going to dissolve. Okay, it is going to convert them into base 64 format. Okay, it is actually a text in text format. Okay, so I'm going to create here attachments. Okay, is equal to blank array. Then for each of those items in the files array, okay, var I is equal to 0. So we are going to iterate uh, to each of those items. Okay, so you have here I is less than files dot length, then I plus plus. Okay. Var, I'm just going to call it a base 64 string, because base 64 or the file, okay, the blob or the file, whatever would that file is, it would be an image, a text, PDF or whatever, it is going to be converted into a base 64 string. Okay, so I'm going to call read as file, okay, read file as base 64. Then each of them, each of the files within our files array. Okay, but take note that this is an asynchronous operation, so therefore we are going to issue here the keyword await. And if ever we're going to use the keyword await, so therefore we must have to set this one as an asynchronous function. Okay, so here on line 22, it is now going to call read file as base 64 for each of the files. Then each of them attachments that push, or they are going to be added to our array base 64 string. Okay, so we are now ready with our attachments. So next is we are now going to send our attachments into our send email function from the server. Okay, so I'm just, by the way, so that we are going to be consistent with the parameter names, I just going to call it, okay, to, not recipient anymore, then cc, comma bcc, comma subject, comma body, and the last is we're going to have our attachments. Okay, because in our send email, okay, so I'm going to have, okay, to, then cc, comma bcc, comma subject, comma body, and I'm just going to call it files first, because later on I'm going to convert them into an attachments. Okay, so in our code.js, okay, straightforward, we're just going to use them because all of them are just text. But take note that files is actually an array of base 64 strings. Okay, so here, by the way, I'm going to have to, then subject and body. By the way, I'm going to add carbon copy, then blind carbon copy, so we have also here our BCC. Okay, and last is we're going to have our attachments. Okay, and I'm going to have a variable later on named attachments, comma. Okay, so now we are going to first convert the files to blob. Okay, because take note here that the files contains base 64 strings. Okay, so we are going to return them or convert them back into their original format. Okay, if ever it is a PDF, we are going to return it to PDF, to image, and so on. Okay, so I'm going to create here a variable named attachments is equal to files. Now, since I'm going to use here the map, it is because we are going to have each, no matter how many files or how many elements that we have there, is we are going to apply the conversion to each of those items and assign them to the new array, which is attachments. Okay, so that is why I'm going to call it base 64 string file. This is the file actually. Then um, okay, so this is now our um, what's this? Our routine to convert uh, the file, which is by the way converted from our client into base 64, and we are now converting them back to their original uh, file types. Okay, so I have also copied from the internet. Okay, so how are we going to convert them into their original type? Okay, so first is we have here, we are going to get the MIME type. Okay, by the way, the MIME type would be, it could be a PDF, it could be a JPEG, PNG, text file, or so on, so on. Okay, now we are getting here, actually this now we are matching here, we are getting now the first part, because if ever that you are going to have, I'll try if I still have the format of a base 64. Okay, I have deleted already, because when you are in the base 64 format, okay, when a file is converted into a base 64 format, there are two parts, and the two parts are separated by a comma. Okay, so that's why here, as you can see here, we have split by comma. Here it has been split to comma. Okay, and it get the second part, which is now the data, and the MIME type is the first one here. Okay, so we could get the data type or the file type on the first part uh, of the base 64 string. Again, base 64 string is divided into two. The first part is the file type, and the second part is the converted file type, or the converted file into base 64. So the MIME type is the first part, and the second part is we have now our data. Okay, and the utilities is actually a class from Google Apps Script from Google. Okay, that is going to convert base 64, or to decode. Okay, take note here of the command, decode that base 64 string to its original file type or blob type. Okay, so again, I just copied this one from the internet. Okay, this is to convert the files, each of the files uh, to its original file type. And I used here a map so that I could apply this conversion to all of the files, okay, passed here, and assign them to attachments. Okay, so the attachments array now contains the original file types, or the original files. Okay, so that is why here I have now the attachments. This attachment here is actually this attachment now. Okay, okay, so let us try first. Hopefully I got it right. Okay, refresh, send email. Okay, I am going to have my test email.com. Okay, I'm just going to have here maybe gmail.com and the BCC. Oh. Okay, so please see attached files. Okay, then I'm going to attach. Okay, that one here. Then a PDF. So I have there a JPEG, a PDF, and a text file. Okay, so there I have here three files. Okay, so set open. So you can see here I have now three files. Okay, so then send. Oops, I have an error. Okay, so we have here failed due to illegal value. So it is on the send file. Scripts. To CC BCC subject body. Wait. B64. Parameter 0 2. Oh, we have there. I have not changed the recipient. Okay, I'm just going to change that to 2. Okay, let's try. Refresh. Then I'm just going to have test gmail.com, test yahoo.com, then images. Please see files. Let us say important files. Then I'm going to select multiple files. Okay, a PDF, an image, and a text file. Okay, open. Then hopefully this is right correct now. Okay, no error. Okay, email sent successfully. So I'm going to test. I'm going to try. Okay, so we have here now R, the file, important file. So click. So as you can see here, we have the CC. So we have test@gmail.com. Okay, so we could not see actually here our blind carbon copy. And we have here now the three files. So the first image file, then the text file, and the PDF file. And we have here now our please see attached files. Okay. So the problem was, okay, so I have changed my parameters list to the parameter names here, but then I was not able to change it from the variable there. Okay, so next is how about if ever that we are going to have some design, or we are going to decorate our body. Okay, so here we must have to change our body here. But first, instead that we're going to have here a body, we are going to have an HTML body. Okay, so HTML body meaning this variable here, this body here is now formatted. Okay, so we could now actually incorporate files, or no, HTML tags into our body. So for example, in our scripts, okay, so we have here our body. Okay, so I'm just going to modify my body, okay, aside from the one that is being typed or inputted by the user. By the way, since I'm going to modify the bodies, I'm just going to have, it should not be constant. Okay, so body is equal to, now I'm going to use the backtick here, okay, so that I could have here a multi-line. Okay, let us say I'm going to have an ordered list. Okay, I'm just going to have my list slash Okay. UL, then we're going to have slash UL. Okay, then in between them is going to have LI list number 1. List number 2, 3, and 4. Let us say we're going to have here okay, I'm going to include the body here. So H1, then the body. Okay, so this body here is this body here now. Okay. Okay, a very simple body with HTML tags. Okay, so let us see what is the output of this body here, as I'm going to have it as a parameter into my send email, but on the parameter HTML body. Okay, so save and refresh. Okay, so I'm still going to send it to my test email. I'm not going to have the CC and the BCC, so I'm here the subject HTML body and my list for Christmas. I'm not going to have the files anymore. Okay, so send. Okay, email sent successfully. By the way, you could auto close the modal. Then to the inbox. Okay, it's HTML body. So you have here. So click. So we have here now H1, and I have here the list. Okay, the unordered list. Okay, so usually HTML body is used, for example, if you are going to have let us say a newsletter or whatever. So for example, from Unity Technologies, okay, they are using here actually an HTML body. So you could say Unity, then we have it there, then we have a link and so on. Okay, so that is for they are using there an HTML body. Okay, so at least we have now improved our sending a very simple way to send an email. Okay, there are still a lot of options that you could play with. Let us say I'm going mail app, Google Apps script options. Okay, so we have them. So we have here send email, message, and we have the different. Okay, we have here the different options. Okay, so attachments. So as you can see there, we have the one that I have shown to you. Then the BCC, or the comma separated list of BCC, blind carbon copy, the body, still body, and so on. And you can have here no reply. By the way, reply to is an email address to use. Okay, the default is our email. Then if no reply is set to true, reply to is ignored. Okay, so if ever that you want, going back there. So as you can see here from, okay, so if ever they are going to reply, by default, it is now the email that we are using. But if ever you're going to specify the reply to, then it would be then the reply to that is going to be seen there. Okay, to and so on. Okay, so you could play with, or you could test this options, other options for the mail app service or mail app class of Google Apps script.